Hey guys, it's Natalie welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you do not know who I am, I'm a Roman Catholic YouTuber and I do YouTube videos on all things Catholicism. So if you're Protestant, Catholic, or whoever you are, you're welcome here. For today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys and explaining why I don't listen to Taylor Swift anymore, especially as I've grown in my faith as a Catholic, and I'm just going to be sharing my perspective on this issue. But before I get into today's video, I want to make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram at nathaliedominacatholic for more Catholic content, and make sure you sign up for my monthly newsletter in the description down below. In my link tree, you can just sign up, put your name, email, it is free, and you will get exclusive content over there sent to your inbox on the first of every month. And make sure you go listen to my podcast, Sign of Contradiction with Natalie Domina, over on Spotify for weekly podcast episodes that I post every Sunday at 8 a.m. And make sure you like and subscribe down below for this video so that you just help grow this Catholic community of content creators. So I am already aware that this video is going to be quite controversial to not only the world, to girls listening to this, guys, to my friend group, to there's a lot of people that this video is going to be a bit polarizing, but I really thought it was necessary. I'm really trying to just grow in my faith and really trying to help you guys grow in your faith. You can take everything I say with a grain of salt, and you should take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I just really think that this is important to say. Not many people are saying, and speaking out against this, a lot of people are just letting something slide and just kind of lukewarm in certain areas of their life, which is okay. I am as well. I just think this is something that I really thought about for the past year, honestly, maybe even more. And I finally am making a decision on this. So I really wanted to just express my views on this topic and expressing the reasons why to you guys. You can take it, leave it, do whatever you want to do with it. Let's just try to keep the comments charitable, try to keep our relationship with other people charitable. I think this is really important. The only reason I am making this video is because I want what's best for each and every single one of you guys. And I might not be as researched as I could be on this topic, so you guys might have things to rebuttal me with or refute, whatever, and that could be perfect and great, and then we could get to the truth together. But that's all I want, is just to share my side of things that I've learned, and then you guys share your side and we just grow in truth together. So I want to first start off by saying that this video isn't specifically Taylor Swift. I mean, it kind of is what I'm going to be mainly focusing on, but honestly, it really goes to basically any big Hollywood type of person, artist, actor, even government officials, but mainly Taylor Swift. And I'm really going to be focusing on music today and the importance of music. I really think it's one of the things that could save our nation. Obviously Christ, but through music and through beauty. I really think if we focus on that more, so many more things would change. Our hearts would change, the way we view other people. I think laws, the way we worship, I think so many things would change if we really focus on beauty and specifically music. So I think there's just something really important in music that we have just lost. Just really think about it. Think of sea captains, okay? Think of pirates. What did they have that brought their community together? Music, the sea shanties. Think of old Irish like folk songs. Think of even Southern country like folk songs. Think of the church, like the Gregorian chants, the music that was the music of the church. Every good society, good nation had music at the center. Every good culture. Think of the African songs, the African folk songs. Like every good culture had good music. Music brings people together in ways that are unexplainable because it transcends you to beyond, to the heavens, whatever you want to say. So I think that there's something really important in music that people don't understand, that music and even just the content that you consume, it really influences the way that you act, the way that you think, just the way that everything, like the way you do anything. And I think that if you really look into yourself, you'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This type of music, even if you don't even listen to music, just videos you watch or photos you watch or just magazines that you read or books that you read, like it really influences you. If you really look up to this one person, you're going to kind of start to imitate those ideals, even subconsciously. But I really think that you can see that if you really take time to reflect on yourself, that the content you consume has an impact on you. And I think people don't realize that, but it does. And so it's really, really, really important that we're focusing on the music, the art, the videos that we consume, because they influence you in ways that you don't even understand. It's the way that, first off, that God works through you, but also Satan. They work through different mediums to get to you, because there is a physical, spiritual realm, so they have to like enter in through the physical realm. Think of a really beautiful hymn. I'm thinking of Ubi Caritas that I love. Like, think how God works through that beauty, but also think of something that's ugly, distorted, whatever. Like, Satan works through that. Like, beauty is a transcending thing, so transcending powers work through that. I want to just say that this video is also not meant to like attack Taylor Swift and trying to be like, she's a bad person. Like, I'm not judging her intentions at all. Like, she might have the best of intention, she might have the worst of intention. That's not what I'm judging. I'm just judging what I've seen, what she has produced, and just explaining to you why it is not, and it has not been good on my own personal soul. And I think that really it could help save a culture, not listening to her and other artists as well. So I grew up on listening to the album Red and singing 22 with my friends when I was like young, like 8 or 9 or around that age. And I just thought it was fun, just like any other music around that time. It was just, I thought it was lighthearted, even though it kind of was playing with some deep themes. But I was like, this is fun. I'm like a young little girl, this is a fun thing. But then honestly, I completely forgot about her, not to be rude, but I forgot that she even like existed, was still producing music. I mean, I grew up, started listening to other music, started really listening to like Christian music, classical music, different types of music, and I just, yeah, didn't really listen to any of that. But then recently, within the past couple of years, there's just been like a surge of Taylor Swift. And I really, really, really find that interesting, in that the way that our culture has been going, and then the way that she's been rising, like how those have been kind of rising together at the same time. And I just think that's really interesting to think of it just like exponentially, like on a graph. Is like, oh yeah, she was like popular, the culture wasn't as crazy, and now it's kind of like surging, like just crazy things that we have. And I'm not saying that they correlate, but also they could. I think something that's also really interesting is just the fan base of Taylor Swift, is that I have not seen, at least recently, such a kind of cult like surrounding, like a just like kind of like a worship, honestly, of Taylor Swift. And I think if you don't even think about it from the perspective of, oh, like the viewer, and then how like attached they are and how they're filling an empty hole, like for God, that they have lost, like, yeah, we should be worshiping someone, and that's Christ Jesus. But I think even just from the perspective of being like, hey, let me step into Taylor Swift's shoes, is like, you are holding like half of the world in your hands. Like, half the world probably listens to Taylor Swift. Maybe not that much, but I'm just saying. She has a lot of people held in her hands, and we're responsible when you step up to any role, like priests, okay, they're in charge of the salvation of the souls in all their community. The Pope is in charge of the salvation of the souls in the world at this moment. And anytime we stand up for any certain thing, like my platform right now, like I am in charge of the way that I'm guiding you and teaching you guys. So that's why, I mean, also why I want to make this video, because I'm like, I think I have a duty here as a Catholic, and when you know better, do better. And so if I'm putting myself in a teaching position, I'm going to be held to what I say. Like if I'm a catechumen teaching like confirmation class, that teacher is held to what they say. Like because they're putting themselves in a position of like authority, you're held to that. So Taylor Swift, like think of having all of that weight on her shoulders, that she's like held to hold like the way that girls view the world, the way they view men, the way that they just do things, like anything she's gonna do, like girls are gonna follow, and she's holding that, like she's gonna be held to that when it comes to Judgment Day. I think it's really important to pray for someone like Taylor Swift that does have a lot of weight on them, that you pray for conversion with certain things. And I also think that's what I notice, is that with certain things, like if a priest posted one thing about that you might not kind of believe in, you post that, you'd be like, oh, well, then they're not a good priest, like why would they post that? But when someone like Taylor Swift might post a couple songs, you're like, oh, I can't listen to those, have bad like themes, like she's literally going against the Catholic faith in these things. Or even like in her concerts, if she does some sort of like weird ritual thing, we'd be like, oh, well, that's fine. Like we make excuses for someone like that, instead of making excuses for maybe even like a priest that has dedicated their life to serving the church. So I just think that's a really interesting dichotomy that there is going on, of that we make excuse after excuse for, well, they might not produce good art here, but this is good, so I'll listen to this. But it's like, this is all being produced from the same mindset. And I know that you can take the artist away from the art and look at art separately and then the artist separately. But if they're producing all of this stuff from the same sort of mindset, is that really a good thing to listen to? I feel like it's also feeding into a lot of like feminist and victim mindset, the way that like every one of her songs is basically like, you were bad, you man, then you were bad. And it's always like, I'm not the one at fault. And I feel like that's the way that a lot of Taylor Swift fans treat Taylor Swift, of like making excuse after excuse for her. Or if something happens, like, poor Taylor Swift, like, she's a god, she can't do anything wrong. But she can, she's a human, she's just like any of us. So I think that's also really important, of like, whoa, she can do something wrong. Like, famous people can do stuff wrong. Just because they're famous doesn't mean they can't do stuff wrong. It actually means they probably will do more stuff wrong, because the spotlight and there's more pressure, and the demons want to attack them even more because they have a lot of the world's like weight on their shoulders. In one of her latest songs that she just posted on her new album, I'm going to read it here on the bridge from Guilty as Sin. It says, "What if I roll the stone away? They're gonna crucify me anyway. What if the way you hold me is actually what's holy? If long-suffering propriety is what they want from me? They don't know how you've haunted me so stunningly. I chose you and me religiously." And I feel like I'm just thinking of like girls like screaming that song. Like, she's saying, what if I roll the stone away? Like, what if I do the same thing that like Christ? I don't know. I just feel like it's not, you shouldn't talk about these things, like sacred things, in such a nonchalant way, like in a concert, just screaming about it. Like, I chose you and me religiously. Like I can see where you could be like, well, that's actually like good, because she's explaining how like she did this and now maybe she's at fault for like doing all this stuff. But like, we just shouldn't joke about that. I feel like, where it's just kind of nonchalant. Like, none of that should be nonchalant, in my opinion, in just songs, like just being able to just scream at a concert. And another one of her songs, "I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can," the lyrics say, "They shake their heads, say, God help her when I tell him he's my man, but you, good Lord, doesn't lift a finger. I can fix him, no really I can, and only I can." She's basically mocking God here, saying only I can do it. Our good Lord doesn't do anything, which is true. Sometimes he doesn't do anything. He allows the suffering to happen. But then her response to it is, well, only I can fix it. If God won't, I can fix it. Kind of mocking Christ. So not only is it just like secular, whatever type of music, which is fine that there's secular music, beauty can be found through it, but it mocks God. There isn't a sort of beautiful art form in that. And music is such an important factor in our lives that we should really reconsider just what we listen to. I think just the real question here for me is that when I found myself listening to more of her songs, I just felt not as closely connected with God. Everything that we do either brings us towards God or away from God. And some things like are neutral, like some decisions can be neutral, but for the most part, they bring us towards God or away from God, especially music. Like, it has to have some sort of impact and effect. That's like the point of music, is that there's some sort of impact and effect that this has on culture. And I just think that you can look at the fruits of it and see what it does in people's lives and the following of Taylor Swift, and really like, has this turned people to be better people? Are they following Christ more? Are they just doing better things, or is it leading people maybe astray, leading people more towards her than actually to God? So that's just what I've noticed personally of that. I'm like, well, I don't want to participate in that, just so I want the focus to be more on Christ. Just the way that it's kind of like a cult-like following, that I just think that focusing on Christ, spending our time with that would be more fruitful, because we only have one life. And that's really just how I'm trying to live now. It's like, I only have one life. Can I sacrifice listening to this for my life with Christ? Yeah, I could. I'm also trying to get out of the mentality of like, well, it's not bad. Like, it's not that bad. But it's like, okay, do I want to like just keep living my life and like, well, it's not bad, but I want it to be, is it good? Is it fruitful for me? I don't want to just be living my life like, well, I'm going to do this with my partner because it's not bad, but it's like, no, but is it good? I'm going to listen to this song because it's not like bad, but is it good? That's how I want to live my life. I don't want to just be in this continence type of part in my life. I want to be like in the virtuous life. And so that's what I've noticed for me, is that if I want to actually live a virtuous life, I can't just stay away from the evil, but also like do the good. So that's really what I'm just focusing on recently, is that music, I've realized, has such a big impact on my soul. And I really think that I want to do the good, not only stay away from the bad. So I want to do that. And also some like of her themes, and this is not just like her, this is like most secular music these days are full of really bad themes, implicitly or explicitly bad themes. Even like she's had some like F-bombs and like bad words in her songs that I'm just like, that did not need to be there. And like F-bombing is like literally degrading one of the most sacred things, which is the marital act. So I don't like that. But yeah, I'm just really trying to really run towards the good more recently, and that's just a way that I really think, if we look at the music we listen to and really realize it has such a big impact on us, and really just focus like, this could be my last day to live, and is this bringing me more towards Christ? Is this leading me to a virtuous life? So those are just some of my thoughts. I've also seen some like weird stuff with her concerts. I don't really know. I haven't looked into this. This is just like thoughts, like philosophical thoughts. You guys let me know down in your description if you listen to her still, or if you think it's like good for you, like fruitful for you. But that's really just how I'm coming from, of not is it fine for you to listen to, but is it fruitful, at least for me. That's just what with music, that's just the way I view it. Is it fruitful for me to listen to? And I just want to like also say right now that I've really started to relook at all the music that I listen to, not just like Taylor Swift, but other musics, because you might be like, well, Natalie, do you listen to this and this? I'm really trying to think about all the songs I listen to and be like, is this fruitful for me? No. Is this fruitful for me? No. So I'm like not listening to a lot of my playlists now, just because I'm just like, is this leading me towards Christ? Like, I only have one of these days in my whole life. Like this day right now, when you guys are watching this, is the only day of this day that's ever gonna exist. And am I filling it with virtue? And that's just what I've really just been thinking. So yeah, I'm sorry this video is kind of long, but those are just my thoughts. You guys let me know what your takes are on this. But yeah, I just don't listen to it anymore because it just hasn't been fruitful. I've just seen some anti-Christian themes, and I'm just like, well, it's just time of my life that I could be spending for other things. So yeah, Saint Bernadette, pray for us. Have a blessed day, y'all.